Sunday to the entire Bitcoin fam. How's it going? Let me know in the live chat. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis as well as the bull case for Bitcoin according to ARK Invest, which is a $1.48 million Bitcoin price prediction. Also, quoting Max Kaiser, Bitcoin's revolution is an impossible to counterfeit digital store of value that can be used as money that has no sovereign or central bank involved, that can be sent anywhere instantly at virtually no cost and is irresistible. Anyone who uses it is converted. You can say that again. Also in today's show, I'll be sharing Europe expecting its first Bitcoin ETF this month. I'll be breaking down this report, as well as the SEC could be waiting years to file an appeal in the Ripple XRP case, according to their CEO, Brad Garlinghouse. We'll also be discussing the SEC has officially and formally accepted the BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF, which is big news. I'll be sharing this regarding the latest application review, as well as a crazy 2025 crypto rally is approaching, says crypto analyst who called the 2022 market bottom. I'll also be sharing with you Michael Saylor's $1 million Bitcoin price prediction. Quoting him here, I have said it before, and I'll repeat it again. If Bitcoin is not going to zero, it's going to $1 million per coin. It is either nothing, and if it's nothing, then it's getting scrubbed out and banned. And of course, we now know it is not getting banned. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. Welcome everyone just joining us. If you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that bell to turn on notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. And welcome to y'all just tuning in. This is pod episode number 1343. I'm your host JV, and happy Sunday, July 16th, 2023. Checking out the market here, we can see Bitcoin pretty neutral thus far. Currently trading just under 30,300. We have Ether barely in the red, still staying above 1900. The big gainer for the day is XRP, up about 8%, trading back above 78 cents. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap sits just above $1.22 trillion with 24 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, with the Bitcoin dominance at 48.4% and the Ether dominance at 19.1%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, 1inch Network leading the pack, up about 12%, trading above 42 cents, followed by Maker, up 10%, trading at $981, followed by XRP up 6%, trading above 77 cents. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, we have 1inch leading this pack as well, along with Maker and Cause. So there you have it. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're currently rated a 57 in greed, yesterday a 56, last week a 55, and last month a 47, which is neutral. Yeah, so there you have it. And if you're just joining us, make sure to say hello in the live chat. And at the end of the show, I'm going to be reading everyone's comments out loud, as this is a live and interactive show. And if you're only listening on a podcasting platform such as Spotify or iTunes, I encourage you to check out cryptonewsalerts.net for the full premium experience on YouTube with video and to participate in the live Q&A. Now for the charts, let's check out the Bitcoin price action. Bitcoin at 30,000 is the most popular buy level ever, according to the latest on-chain data. That's right, according to Glassnode. Now the Bitcoin price action may have stalled near the 30,000 mark, but buyer behavior suggests there is significant demand for the largest crypto here and now. Glassnode, which monitors unspent transaction outputs, shows that 30,200 is the price at which the largest number was created. The figures come from the first entity's adjusted URPD or UTXO, which is the real-life price distribution metric. This counts UTXOs but discards two important transaction types that could give a false impression of demand. Quoting Glassnode here, in this calculation, we discard coin movements between address controlled by the same entity, and as such, transfers which do not correspond to real purchasing events and which could distort the actual mean purchasing price. Further, we exclude all supply that is on exchanges because a single average price for the funds of millions of users would be misleading and give rise to unwanted artifacts in the data. They confirmed. Now the result is that 3.8% of the total Bitcoin supply last moved at 30,200, more even at the 16,500 mark, which marks the area near the 2022 post FTX bottom. That's right, I think we hit a low of 15,700. And quoting Milky Bull Crypto, big move is coming. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analyst. Meanwhile, other on-chain data reinforces the idea that old hands are are uninterested in selling their stake despite this year's Bitcoin price already doubling. Let's go. Glassnode's HODLed or lost coin metric, which covers what is described as old and large stashes of Bitcoin, continues to head towards new record highs. HODLed or lost coins is based on the so-called liveliness of the Bitcoin blockchain, how many of the supply moves at once, and following what period of dormancy, stagnation. This data provides an insight into how stagnant the supply is, including, as the name suggests, how much is likely out of reach indefinitely, and for example, due to wallet owners losing access to their investment, which probably happens all the time, right? The HODLed or lost coins segment currently includes 7.77 million BTC, worth $233 billion. This is the highest tally in 5 years, which is, you can see here in this chart, shows you the Bitcoin HODLed or lost coins. Now, estimates have long suggested that around 20% of Bitcoin's 21 million units may already be locked from circulation forever. That's right, and I think that is a fair assumption. And as William Clemente, the on-chain analyst, points out here, the bull case for Bitcoin, according to ARK Invest, let's take a look at this chart. This is very insightful. It shows us their bear case scenario for the 2030 Bitcoin price target, which you can see on the left, is $258,500. Now, the base case for the 2030 Bitcoin target is $682,800. And now for the bull case, $1.48 million per BTC. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this assessment and which target do you feel is most likely by the year 2030. And now quoting Max Kaiser from a recent episode of the Orange Pill Pod, and I'm a big fan of Chappelle, I have been since a kid. Anyways, he said, Dave Chappelle, that's the comedian who kept free speech alive during the dark days of censorship. Dave Chappelle, a big shout out for keeping it real. 100. How many of you remember the Chappelle show? Let me know in the comments. Now for a recent thing I shared regarding Max and a prediction, which he just recently shared maybe 2 days ago, and I transcribed from his podcast. He said, if only 5% of that money ends up in Bitcoin, you're talking about a price of $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 of BTC, which of course is a target now within reach. If Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the $9 trillion gun is going to start firing bullets at this little Bitcoin target. Send it and let's freaking go. And now let's get into our next story of the day. You also noticed I cleaned up the B-roll camera and I have some new studio equipment on the way, which I'm excited, which is going to take this show and podcast to a whole new level, which I'm pretty stoked about. If you don't know, now you know. But now let's discuss our next breaking story of the day, and that's Europe receiving its first Bitcoin ETF, which approval can be very, very soon. So yeah, let's break this down. Check it out. The first Bitcoin ETF in Europe is expected to be publicly listed by the end of the month. Let's go. A full year after its initially planned launch, the Financial Times reported on Thursday, the ETF was first announced by Jacoby Asset Management in July of 2022, literally a year ago. The asset manager wanted to list it on the Euronext exchange last year, but decided that that time wasn't right after a string of negative events in the crypto space, like the crash of the Terra Luna project and the bankruptcy of crypto exchange FTX with Scam Bankman-Fried. The issuer now says demand has shifted since last summer and an ETF is on track. That's right. All ETF products are based on digital assets in Europe so far have been structured as exchange-traded notes, which are ETNs, rather than funds, which are ETFs. The Business Daily pointed out Jacoby has specifically highlighted that it's launching an ETF, not an ETN, so keep that in mind. While an ETF shareholder owns a portion of the fund's underlying asset, an ETN investor owns a debt security. And I must say, there's nothing like the real thing, baby. So get your Bitcoin on cold storage or forever hold your peace. Quoting them here, there has been so much misinformation and misuse of the term ETF by ETN issuers, presumably to obfuscate the risks that are inherent in acquiring and investing in ETNs. Jacoby's co-founder and chief operating officer, Peter Lane, was quoted saying late last year, now unlike ETNs, the Bitcoin ETF that Jacoby Asset Management prepares to offer cannot be leveraged or used as derivatives, which could otherwise lead to significant counterparty risk. Take note of that, no clarity Gary of the SEC. Just saying. The new ETF has been authorized in Guernsey, a Channel Island jurisdiction that will facilitate its launch as it is not subject to the inherent inflexibilities of being an EU member, noted David Crossland, a partner in offshore law firm Carey Olson. And launching a Bitcoin ETF in Europe would have come with very large regulatory challenges, according to Michael O'Riordan, founder partner of ETF and digital asset consultancy Blackwater Search and Advisory. He explained the Bitcoin is not considered considered an eligible asset under the EU's Undertaking for Collective Investment in Transferable Security Directive, which allows collective investment schemes to operate throughout the Union based on an authorization from a single member state. So quoting data from Coinbase and Bloomberg, the report details that net flows into European digital asset ETPs reached $483 million over the past 18 months, and assets in European digital asset ETPs stand at currently $4.8 billion, according to the Morningstar data analyzed by the FT Ignites Europe Asset Management Industry news outlet. So there you have it. How many of you are actually tuned in live right now from the EU and pretty excited for Europe to have their first official spot Bitcoin ETF approved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking of ETFs, we're going to also be discussing, of course, BlackRock's ETF approval and what this is likely will mean for the entire crypto industry, mass adoption, Bitcoin game theory in full effect, numbers go up, and everything that comes along with it. But first, let's discuss the latest regarding the recent win of Ripple Labs and XRP versus the SEC and what their CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, has to say about it regarding an appeal. Because even though they won, they have the right to appeal that decision. But Garlinghouse says it can be years before they appeal it. So let's discuss it, shall we? Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse believes that the US SEC will face a prolonged process before having the chance to appeal the ruling in its case versus Ripple Labs. As you know, July 13th, U.S. District Judge Torres ruled partially in favor of Ripple in a case brought by the SEC all the way back in 2020, ruling that XRP's token is not a security when sold on retail digital asset exchanges. And as a result of that ruling, many of the top exchanges have already relisted XRP, including Coinbase, just FYI. Now, Torres also ruled that XRP is a security when sold to institutional investors as it meets the conditions set in the Howey test, the infamous Howey test set back in like the 1930s. In an interview with Bloomberg on July 15th, Garlinghouse dismissed the institutional sales decision as the smallest piece of the lawsuit. He believes if SEC were to file an appeal against the retail sales ruling, it would only further solidify the decision that Judge Torres made. And although Garlinghouse believes it would be, could be a while before the SEC has possibility to file the appeal, here's what he had to share. As a matter of law, the law of the land right now is that XRP is not a security until there is an opportunity for the SEC to file an appeal, which would take years. Frankly, we are very optimistic, and Garlinghouse emphasized that this is the first time the SEC has lost a crypto case. That means they were undisputed, not any longer. He called out the SEC for being a bully and going after players in the crypto industry who couldn't mount a proper defense. I think they make a great point there. Unlawful action continues with their crypto crackdown, right? He also noted that when the case against Ripple was first filed, a lot of the crypto exchanges in the US had the attitude of waiting to see what happens due to uncertainty. This resulted in several of the top exchanges such as Coinbase, Kraken, and Gemini, etc., all delisting XRP altogether, which absolutely suppressed the price action of XRP. The SEC sowed confusion in the market, according to Garlinghouse. Quoting him again, they knew there was confusion and they actually did things that they know would increase confusion. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the CEO. Garlinghouse explained that this confusion actually masqueraded as power to the SEC, thus preventing innovation within the U.S. Quoting him again, the SEC has been trying to put power in politics over what is really just sound policy and providing clear rules of the road. He points out that this has made it difficult for entrepreneurs and investors to participate in the U.S. crypto market and blockchain industry. So there you have it. Let me know if you feel if the SEC is likely to appeal this decision versus Ripple Labs and the XRP community. And with that being shared, fam, now for the latest regarding this BlackRock approval of their application by the SEC, which is a great sign that we are on track to moon next year in 2024, as Bitcoin halving is estimated to be roughly in April, roughly 9.5 months out. Let's go. So here is the latest with BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world. BlackRock's app to offer a spot Bitcoin ETF has been added to the official docket of the SEC as part of its proposed rule change process. The move, recorded late Thursday, advances the most closely watched Bitcoin-related proposal to the SEC to date. The app for iShares Bitcoin Trust was filed nearly a month ago, prompting a new wave of optimism across the crypto market and additional filings for spot Bitcoin ETFs from a number of other prominent players, including from firms like Invesco, WisdomTree, Bitwise, Fidelity, and even ARK Invest, Cathie Wood's company, which saw its previous apps rejected last year, and along with those from other contenders. And when the SEC SEC signaled last month that BlackRock's app was lacking. The company filed the revised application, adding a surveillance sharing clause that would involve the Coinbase crypto exchange, the largest crypto exchange in the U.S., monitoring and reporting possible illegal activity. And soon enough, Valkyrie updated its app with the same provision, as did Fidelity and Cathie Wood's ARK Invest. Now, a spot Bitcoin ETF would track the value of Bitcoin without requiring the asset to be held directly. It would also be tradable on traditional stock exchange. And while a Bitcoin ETF based on Bitcoin futures launched a great fanfare earlier this year, a spot ETF, which is tied to the current price of the crypto, has been described as the holy grail for the industry. That's a great way to describe it. The SEC's continued resistance to approving one over the past several years has been described as a complete and utter disaster. So what's good? No clarity, Gary. What are we going to do? Now, with BlackRock's app now on the SEC's official calendar, it'll be published in the Federal Register and trigger a 21-day public comment period. I also like to point out that the app needs to either be denied or approved before the Bitcoin halving in April of next year, which can create the perfect storm. Meanwhile, 4 other applications were docketed on Friday related to the CBOE BZX exchange, which was the first entity to apply for a Bitcoin ETF back in March of 2021. They include the Wise Origin Bitcoin Trust, Wisdom Tree Bitcoin Trust, Van Eck Bitcoin Trust, and Invesco Galaxy Bitcoin ETF, which have also entered a 3-week comment period. And I also like to point out that the Gemini exchange, owned by the Winklevoss twins, were the first to put in a spot Bitcoin ETF app to the SEC. Can you guess how long ago they did that? A decade ago. So what's good with the SEC denying every single ETF spot app in the US? Meanwhile, they approve futures derivative ETFs. Why? Control, manipulation, and to harm the investor, in my humble opinion. But let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below. Now let's discuss a prediction of a crazy rally in 2025. As we know, the halving is 2024, and it's the year preceding the halving when the market typically hits the cycle peak and goes parabolic. And then we'll dive into Michael Saylor's latest $1 million price prediction, followed by some live Q&A. Don't forget to say hello in the live chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I broadcast each and every day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year, live from Puerto Rico. So let's frickin' go. So here we have it. Venture capitalist investor Chris Bernzik says the new crypto bull market is coming in the next couple of years, which will make the previous cycles look modest. Bernzik, a current partner of Placeholder Capital and former analyst at ARK Invest, says the new bull cycle is brewing, backed by a slew of new projects and catalysts. Quoting him here on Crypto Twitter, "We thought 2013 was crazy until we saw 2017. We thought 2017 was crazy until we saw 2021. We thought 2021 was crazy until we saw 2025, and he makes a great point, and he continues, regulatory currents are changing, new products are shipping, IFS, which are Internet Financial Systems, are maturing, we have NFTs, which are mainstreaming, we have BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, who is bullish, and once again, rates will drop, repricing time and all risk assets, pack your bags and buckle up, it's gonna get silly, let's go. The investor predicts that eventually most crypto projects will consolidate into a smaller number of layer ones that thousands of blockchains tap into for security. Quoting him here, in the future, everything becomes a roll-up, tapping into the security of a handful of multi-trillion-dollar based layers. It's as simple as that. Consolidation of one layer infrastructure leads to cementing winners and value accrual, where while demolishing the value of the long tail of infrastructure, those playing the venture capitalist infrastructure game for too long will get rightfully burned. And through this consolidation, the cost of block space service provisioning collapses, leading to an expansion and increased experimentation at the app layer may take a cycle to become obvious. And earlier in the year, he named Solana as one of the biggest opportunities for the next bull market cycle. Quoting him again, "I think if I had to pick an ecosystem that's contentious and that you should pay attention to, and it is contentiousness, which is undervalued, it would be Solana. Placeholder, each bear market tends to pick an ecosystem or two and build an aircraft carrier strategy around that ecosystem. And so the last bear market, it was ETH and Bitcoin, because those were really the only things that scale and liquid enough to justify. And what I mean by aircraft carrier, if you take Ethereum, buy a bunch of the core ETH asset, but then venture invest around it and really get to know the ecosystem and who all the people are that are working on, say, at that point of time, lending or decentralized exchanges or asset management or whatever. And then you can pick the best teams of the teams that most speak to from a venture perspective. We are doing that same aircraft carrier strategy around Cosmos and Solana right now. Very interesting, because also heard the macro guru Raoul Pal, 80% of his portfolio, he says, is in Solana. So that's just more bullishness right there for the crypto market in 2025. Now for Michael Saylor's $1 million price prediction. Let's break this down. He was interviewed on a podcast, which I transcribed because I couldn't find this information on any article, and I wanted to bring it to you first. So I'm going to quote it word for word and share his latest insights from his recent interview. So here's what Michael Saylor had to say regarding, the ETFs and all that's happening right now. He says, it looks like a spot ETF will probably get approved. There is massive political pressure to approve one. The circumstances have changed, and now there is a way for the SEC to approve it without backtracking on its previous legal and policy guidance. And he continues, certainly there are a lot of Wall Street entities that have vested interest in seeing this happen. If you're an institution, one way to get Bitcoin exposure is to buy the underlying asset, but there have been challenges with finding the right exchange to buy it on and custody arrangement. So a simpler way to do it is buy the spot ETF. There are trillions of dollars in capital that is required to invest in a security that trades in these compliant forums and is understating the obvious. There's tens of trillions of dollars. So there is a lot of capital that can't buy the Bitcoin or self-custody the Bitcoin. They don't want to do charter. Maybe it's against the tax code. Maybe when they raised $10 billion from public investors, they raised it to invest in securities, but not interested in property or commodities. So the spot ETF availability is a major milestone for traditional adoption. The approval of a spot ETF is a major milestone in regulatory clarity, which is tantamount to an endorsement. The engagement of Fidelity, Citadel, BlackRock, and Schwab. I mean, Schwab is synonymous with Wall Street, 100 years of Wall Street. So what you have is Wall Street coming together to offer securities and exchange services and indirectly custody services for mainstream investors. And we look out about 12 months, and if I was saying, what are the key milestones that drive mainstream adoption of Bitcoin? Well, one of them is clearly a spot ETF. The second is the designation that Bitcoin is an asset class, the recognition of a legitimate commodity. It's a big deal. When Jerome Powell says it is not going away, when Gensler and the head of the SEC and CFTC both say it's a digital commodity might not sound like much, but when you go down the next round, like, is it a Ponzi scheme or is it a scam, or like tulip bulbs? The difference between tulip bulbs and a digital commodity is a 0 versus a 1. Now pay attention, this is the best part of what he says. I have said it before and I'll repeat it again. If Bitcoin is not going to 0, it is going to $1 million. It is either nothing, and if it is nothing, then it is getting scrubbed out and banned. And of course, we now know it is not getting banned. There is no way that Fidelity, Citadel, BlackRock, Charles Schwab, Deutsche Bank, Credit Agricole, Banco Santander all decide they're not interested in this. They're not endorsing a tulip bulb, right? Once you go from 0 to the 1, then the question is, well, it is an asset class, and if it is not going away, what is it worth? Well, it's worth 1% of the assets in the world, so 1% drives it up by a factor of 10 to 20. Very powerful prediction by Michael Saylor. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the Giga Chat in the comments below, and be sure to check me out over on Crypto Twitter. My Twitter handle is cryptonewsalerts. You can see this tweet has been going parabolic, which I love to see. Also, some other very interesting Michael Saylor quotes he recently shared from a Bloomberg interview I want to share with you regarding the current state of the market. He says, regulatory clarity is going to drive Bitcoin adoption by eliminating the confusion and anxiety that's been holding back institutional investors. And he continues, they have a view of crypto exchanges which is far constrained. Their view is crypto exchanges should trade and hold pure digital commodities like Bitcoin. And also he went on to share, the public is beginning to realize that Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin, says Saylor. The next logical step is for Bitcoin to 10x from here, and then 10x again, and you run the math. If Bitcoin was to 10x and 10x again, that's 100x. So you already know what's 100 times $30,000. Send it to the moon and let's frickin' go, shall we? And now for our live Q&A, which is my favorite segment of the live show. I appreciate y'all supporting the movement as always. For those who are new to the channel, just a friendly reminder to smash that like button and hit the bell icon, and of course subscribe. That way you're notified each and every single day when I go live here on my YouTube channel. Yeah, Bitcoin Maximus, what's poppin' fam? Lacey Watson, Chris Minka, Clout Casino, Greedy, yo, what's good? Sailing with Twins, always a pleasure. Steve Kingston, happy birthday, the big 6-0. Everyone wish Steve a happy birthday in the live chat or in the main comment section below this video. What's poppin'? Lacey Watson, we got Elmo. What's good? Good to see y'all, fam. Bobby Bitcoin, Bobby, Flat Smack, what's good? Baz Dragon, Nico K, Bubba through D, good to see you as well. Chris Minka, what is poppin'? Uber Hodler, pleasure. Lots of birthday love for Steve Kingston. He's a regular here on the channel, so again, very important to show him some love. Love to see it. The market was nice to me. Bought a bunch of XLM, which is Stellar Lumens, and on a bet that XRP thing would resolve. And holy crap, what a freaking run. Congratulations, Steve. Well done, fam. He says, I knew if XRP got cleared, XLM would be free of the same type of lawsuit for now at least. That's right, because XLM Stellar Lumens is a fork off of XRP. Statwise Jenks in the building. Shout out. I just decided to dump the rest of my fiat savings into Bitcoin. If you hold an asset for over a year in the US, we are eligible for 0% capital gains of up to $60,000, so I can sell as I need it. Massive congratulations. Keep stacking them, Sats fan, and happy stacking. Love to hear that. Hey, everyone, I retweeted the link to the show. Appreciate that. Otilla Higgs, much love and much respect. Thank you for joining us live here this wonderful afternoon, Sunday afternoon. Uber Hodler says, nice work. Understand the tax code. I have always done my own taxes and studied taxes in depth. It has saved me a fortune. I take out about 4 years of expenses, and then the next 3 years I pay no taxes and move up my cost basis by capital gains harvesting. It should be criminal, but it is not. Well, knowledge is power, as they say, right? Now that I know that Uber and Statwise are financial advisors, we have the Coin Father as investment advisors. Awesome, fam. Thank you all. And a quick disclaimer, JV is not a financial advisor. Always do your own research. I need to know more about that. Have been doing a lot more pair trading. Is it tax-free until I go fiat? Ask Steve Kingston. That's how I understand it. I am terrible on the tax side. Sailing with Twins says, thanks, buddy. Good work teaching them youngsters. Now for the day's respect. That's what's up. Uber says, I am not an expert on that part, Steve. I am a long-term hodler. I am just stacking sats and hodling, so it's easy for my stuff. For me, I just sell equities I have held over the past year. Word up. And yes, this is pod number 1343. Can you believe it? Boomer Futurist. Cheers, fam. Cheers. Good to see ya. No scammers, haters, and negativity. Always a beautiful sign. I work in an art studio, says Steve. The students are disabled adults, physically, mentally, and behaviorally based disabilities. It is so rewarding. Much love for you giving back, fam. BTC equals peace, points out Boomer Futurist. You already know. JV, 300 in the building. Next target to hit. That's right. Now we got to get 500 people live on at the same time like we did during the 2021 bull market. I can't wait. It is time, isn't it? I gave you a retweet. Appreciate that, Chris Minka. Much love and much respect. Ciao from Milan, Italy, says Nico. Shout out to my blood and my roots out there in Italy, as I'm 100% Italian. Both sides of my family come from Italy, from Naples, and from Sicily, just FYI. So a lot of respect and love for my country there. Just got back from vacation, taking care of the house before I go again in a week. Well, look at you. Living your best life, Chris. Do what it do. Evening all from Wrexham, UK. We have the United Kingdom in the building. Please stand up. Lacey Watson, what's good, Bitcoin fam? Happy Sunday. That's what's up. Happy Sunday. Great to see ya. MJ says BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF has near zero chance of getting squashed. That's right. If you look at their track record, they have a track record of 575 to 1 with their ETFs being approved by the SEC. So the likelihood of it not being approved, very unlikely. So that's why everyone is so bullish right now, and all the other institutions are following in their footsteps as the Bitcoin game theory continues in full effect. I got to get a better lighting angle here with this B cam. I'll play around with it, but I look like Casper the Ghostish right here. I don't know why that is. Anyways, yeah, it is what it is. Much love, fam. We are all Satoshi except Craig Wright. Hilarious, Nico. Probably my favorite comment of the day. Made me laugh. Love these updates. Thank you, Meatloaf Farts. And what a username. If I'd give the username of the year award, it would probably go to Meatloaf Farts because that is very unique. Craig Wright might be a fraud, but has a real IP, which will have serious, right? Few in crypto understand intellectual property. Yeah, he has like a ton of, what are those things called? What you just mentioned, where he, trademarks and such regarding, how legit it all is, don't even ask. I just know he is not Satoshi, hence why the nickname Fake Toshi, right? Do you think Satoshi would try to cut his own throat in a custody dispute like a drama queen? Absolutely not. When keeping it real goes wrong, it was this moment he knew he effed up. Hilarious. Shout out to, again, Dave Chappelle, because I remember that segment from the Chappelle show. Knowing he had 1 million BTC. Yikes. Yeah, I mean, it is FS Audio 8P, welcome. Clout Casino, welcome. About to make history, bridge to ETH and widely accessible. Also going to be mainstream to tell you, rocket ship to the moon. Word up. Clout says that Kane out is the latest court battle when he sued some random Twitter user for calling him fake. Isn't that hilarious? Wow, my YouTube went all glitchy, but it made it back. Glad to hear it's back and operating once again. Sometimes YouTube, just like Bitcoin, it's on its own vector and will do its own thing. Safe Moon, someone mentioned Safe Moon, probably still has the believer or some squid token holder who never checked what happened yet out of fear. Probably. Who knows? Everything goes to almost zero against Bitcoin. Chris makes a great point. We know the US dollar is absolutely doing that, as the purchasing power of the dollar is guaranteed to dwindle, as the purchasing power of Bitcoin is guaranteed to continue to go up, especially as they continue to print more money, as money printer continue to go. Hey there, JV and fam. I agree with the 2030 ARK base case price tweeted by Clemente. Let's go. Appreciate you sharing that. MK, Mr. Still Stacking, word up. And shout out to on-chain analyst William Clemente, great man here in the Bitcoin community. At Bitcoin, 2.9 million, lots of government and U.S. debt gets paid. $62 trillion market cap. That's right. Now, could you imagine the market cap of Bitcoin? As I shared in a previous episode, there was a prediction with BlackRock coming into the game. 30 trillion can flow directly into Bitcoin, taking the current market cap of the King Crypto from 600 billion to, 30 trillion. So that's like almost 60x. So I can only imagine what would that do to the Bitcoin price action. You're probably not too far off from where that would take Bitcoin to roughly the $3 million mark. The Homer Simpson meme of him telling Bart, you only lost 99% so far. Hilarious, right? Clout says by the time Bitcoin hits that, it will be legal tender and no taxes for long-term hodlers, just like gold in many states. Well, I hope you're right, Clout Casino. Wouldn't that be something? When do you think the feds will make an amendment that protects crypto? Well, you know the feds are not on our side. They basically support the dollar, and anything that undermines the dollar, they're against. Just keeping it real. So we need someone in government who'd be willing to change things, and currently our leaders are useless when it comes to preserving our rights, and they're really good at taking away our freedoms and continuing to keeping us oppressed, as you have witnessed here in the United States for how long now? I can't even go back. I mean, since 9/11, things have been going downhill fast. Soon as BlackRock tells, then too. I mean, yeah, I think if a Bitcoin president hits, it'll be written up, but will take 10 years for the Congress to approve it. Yeah, more than likely, if a very optimistic candidate gets elected, Kennedy or DeSantis, which both say they're pro-Bitcoin and anti-CBDC, they'll probably soon realize once they're in power that they truly have no power and that they're just puppets. You know what I mean? Just like Biden, he's just a puppet for the people really in power and control. And even if you're optimistic, thinking you can do the right thing, you soon find out you have very little control in that position of power. So I don't think that they're going to embrace Bitcoin as long as it undermines the dollar, in which it does. Bitcoin was created by Satoshi as a central bank killer. What does it do? It will kill the central banks by putting them out of business. So they're forced to pretty much adopt Bitcoin because they can't ban it. And because they can't ban it, the thinking is if we can't beat them, join them. But guess what? It's still incorruptible. No one can change it. It's still going to continue to be decentralized. The best store of value in human history, the best pristine collateral we have ever seen. And again, it's in a class of its own. That's why we know the gold market cap, if it's between 10 to 12 trillion, Bitcoin will absolutely eventually take over. It's way superior in every facet and metric that you could compare it to. And with that being shared, so yeah, we have a lot of upside potential, and Bitcoin is just getting started. Crypto is still a very nascent technology. It's been around, 13 years or so. We have a very long time to go. Bitcoin won't stop being mined to the year 2140. We're only in 2023. So like I said, this game is just getting started, fam. So happy stacking stats. Do what you got to do. Protect your family's legacy, you know what I mean? And freedom and sovereignty, so they're not enslaved with the rest of the enslaved class, unfortunately, which we witness right here in real time. Obey your master, Gary. No way. Screw Gary Gensler. We're not listening to anything he says. Clout, we already saw TV news anchors defending Bitcoin from Nasib Talib. butchered that. Yeah, I'm probably butchering his name as well. That was based. BlackRock and other big money want fast resolution. Word up. I think the timeline is pretty short, thinking things will be more clear soon. I mean, I think the intention of the regulators is to confuse the investors, provide no clarity so that it suppresses the price action. And they're doing that to let their homeboys in Wall Street get in. And now we have the likes of BlackRock, Fidelity, Schwab, etc., all the biggest asset managers in the world getting in. And the best feeling, we were all able to front run the largest asset managers in the world. How cool does that feel, right? Everyone here probably got Bitcoin years ago, you know what I mean? And guess what? BlackRock, obviously, they own some of the largest companies in the world. They own, they're the primary shareholder of Standard Chartered Bank, which is worth like $800 billion. They're predicting $120,000 Bitcoin price. And naturally, the indirect way to get exposure to Bitcoin is through Bitcoin stocks. And probably for investors in the US, the best option would be, besides the underlying asset of Bitcoin itself and cold storage, would be like MicroStrategy, which was the first publicly traded company to put Bitcoin on its balance sheet. But eventually, we're going to get the green light, and that's when that 30 trillion plus of institutional money can flow right into Bitcoin. And I truly do believe that a rising tide rises all ships. So if Bitcoin hits a new all-time high and the market cap goes through the roof, Ethereum and all the largest, altcoins are likely to follow, in my humble opinion. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments right down below. Hi, JV. Happy Sunday. I told you about BlackRock. BlackRock will make Bitcoin skyrocket beyond imagination. I called it before. 100% Bubba. Much love, much respect. All I can say, Steve, is I am buying any dip between now and approval. Bring it. Let's go. The No Claire Gare Bear crew has entered the motherfucking building. Word up, Nico. Baz, if the U.S. government has any sense, it will soften its view on crypto, or the U.S. will get left behind. I think that's the plan, obviously, with Biden in power, right? They want the American people to get left behind, unfortunately. And that will be very damaging to their position in world importance. But like I said, it's all by design. 2011, I think. What are you referring to, flat smack in 2011? Is that when the United States started going downhill? Lacey Watson, loving the news. JV, let's go BlackRock. Bring it. Truth, Baz, they need to adopt it as legal tender, but they want their Ponzi scheme. They want their cake and to eat it too, right? Bobby Bitcoin, shout out to Bobby at BlackRock or Saudi Aramco said, we are going to be buying Bitcoin. The price would triple overnight. They would 3 to 5x their money overnight. And then Core, ZQ, and Wolf on Fidelity would 10x overnight. Then what are they waiting for? What do we got to do to convince these fools to get their position in Bitcoin already? Let's do it. Let's change the world. Let's put the power of the good guys, give them the power, which is Bitcoin hodlers. We're the good guys. You know what I mean? In this fiat world of deception, if you know what I mean. Elmo from Australia. Shout out from down under. Let's freaking go from Colorado. Says Hellcat 5000. Word up, Hellcat. Welcome. What makes Solana better? Ask Nate. And why? That's a great question. I am not bullish on Solana. Once after the FTX collapse, I lost all respect in that because I know Scam Bankman-Fried was one of the guys propping up that price along with a lot of the venture capitalists, and I'm not for that. So I decided kind of anti-Solana in a sense, meaning I don't hold any Solana. Personally, I think they're referring to their ecosystem being very strong as a community, but I don't trust it at the end of the day. It's hard for me to have trust in it. However, it has a lot of upside potential. Naturally, look at the all-time highs and once where it was. However, it's also extremely risky. Look how much it has dumped and dropped in comparison to like Bitcoin or Ethereum. So they say no risk, no reward, but you have to depend upon your risk tolerance. If you're looking for a big risk with a potential big reward, that may be a cryptocurrency you may look at, It's up to you. But me personally, I don't feel so comfortable in it. The only cryptocurrency I have certainty, like 100% certainty, is Bitcoin. Naturally, I can sleep at night knowing because it's decentralized. There's no attack vector. The network only continues to get stronger and stronger the more they attack it. It is perfect money, and I don't think there'll ever be a more perfect form of money ever invented in my lifetime. So hence, I am bullish on BTC. So as soon as they dump their last 30% of their holding, it's a dead chain walking. Great point. They'll just start a new one. Chris, most will never self-custody Bitcoin. It's too much responsibility for the vast majority of the people. You're probably right, fam. Most people don't want that type of responsibility. They'd rather have a third party such as a bank, unfortunately, holding their crypto, and they're going to put their faith in the government, unfortunately. But maybe some people have to learn the hard way. If you're here and already in crypto, you probably don't trust the government, hence why you're in crypto. Every poop coin has a cycle. Once the insiders run out of poop and free money, they start a new coin. They got employees and stuff. I believe you're right, Clout. Keep your Bitcoin in self-custody forever. Make it your legacy. I'm 100% with you on that, Chris. Toaster, BlackRock is very scary for Bitcoin. They own all the media channels, so they can do whatever they want with Bitcoin, says Toaster. Cardano Hustler says Hoskinson needs to do 2 decades in a prison cell. Whoa. Think about the lives he has ruined. Youch. Hey, Interdino, doing good. Good to see you, Interdino. Been a minute since I seen you on a live. Shout out to Interdino, an OG here on the channel. Much love, much respect. Adam Weil was good. Got to stay heavy in BTC. You already know. Bitcoin Trini, welcome. Matthew J in the building. Good to see you. We have Tony Jeffries, late, but better late than never. Good to see you. Shout out from LFC Liverpool. Matthew says, smash that like. I appreciate the reminder. It's the greatest compliment you can do to help support the channel, as well as dropping a comment in the comment section below this video. Naturally, when we're live, drop all the comments in the live chat. If you're watching the replay and we're no longer live, drop all of the comments in the main comment section right below the video. It helps out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. Vitalik saying he doesn't stake his Ethereum says it all. 100%. He says he doesn't trust it because of its centralized nature. So if the co-founder of the cryptocurrency does not trust the centralized nature of their blockchain, then what can you trust? Decentralized crypto, aka Bitcoin, fam. You already know. What's good? Shout out from Nigeria. Coming from Hero Dog. That's what's up. Shout out to all my people in Africa. What's good? Good to see y'all. What's poppin'? Blockchain tech is a PP measuring contest, and I'm sick of it. Why can't people be happy there's a blockchain choice for all income situations, says MP. Bitcoin is going to on-ramp fast with the ETF clearance. Facts. What crypto does, leave you a bag holder for nothing. Preach JV, says Lacey Watson. Appreciate your support. Hoskinson has left ADA lovers back hodling. Hi from Scotland. Shout out to John Baxter. Good to see you. Yesterday, they arrested Alex Mashinsky and hoping they slapped the cuffs on Charles Hoskinson, referring to the founder of Cardano. That's right. Mashinsky of Celsius was arrested, but the following day, he was out on bail for $40 million. So he is currently out on bail. Happy birthday to Steve. That's right. It is Steve Kingston's birthday. Show him some love for turning the big 6-0 today. It's a very special day, and he is a part of the fam, so be sure to show him some love. Hi, Raul Powell is 80% ETH, not Solana. It was a typo, bro. Well, I heard him say in his own interview he was 80% Solana. Possible that's wrong. However, that's what I heard him say. So just sharing what I have heard. CSW is an embarrassment to all Australians. What does CSW even stand for? Enlighten me. At least 3 of his patents have been on the bones. Cambodia, I hear, is beautiful, says Mama Bear. Word up. Shout out to y'all tuning in from Cambodia. He has 4,000 patents. Is that word? 4,000? Holy moly. We talking about fake Toshi, I think. When not, if regarding the BlackRock ETF and others, I just wish then we would soon, says Nate. Word up. BlackRock has 8% of MS. I am comfortable with that. 1,200 shares and 50,000 Bitcoin takes MicroStrategy over $8 billion in Bitcoin. Just saying, says David Wilson. Word up. Thanks for sharing and thanks for tuning in live. Channel Islands, lots of money there. Word up. There is no second best. Oh man, I can't wait to get my new studio equipment so I can just sample people like Michael Saylor and we can get into these rants coming directly from them. How cool would that be? Toaster, Charles, his Cardano is all in staking. Dahlia Davis, welcome. We have Sailing with Twins. Shout out to South Africa. Word up. Shout out from Nigeria. Good to see y'all. Anyways, fam, now for a recap, what I cover with you here in today's show. We discussed the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. We also discussed the latest regarding Europe and expecting their first Bitcoin ETF this month. I broke down that latest report, which is definitely bullish for the entire industry, as well as the SEC could be waiting for years to file the appeal in the Ripple XRP case, according to their CEO, Brad Garlinghouse. We also discussed the latest regarding the SEC formally accepting the BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF app for review and what this likely means. We also discussed the crazy 2025 crypto rally prediction, which is approaching, according to crypto analysts who called the 2022 bear market bottom. And we also broke down the latest from the Giga Chad, Michael Saylor, and his $1 million Bitcoin price prediction. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show.